Wind howls across the sanctuary. Rain lashes the treetops. Security cameras glitch in and out, static flashes, low battery warnings, a siren flickering red in the dark. By morning, the storm is gone, but something is wrong. Ben jogs into the control room, rubbing sleep from his eyes. Gate 3's offline again, he mutters. Probably more water damage. Dr. Elsie Reyes is already inside, hunched over the monitor wall, fast-forwarding footage from the night. "Something got through," she says flatly. "What, a raccoon?" "No," she says, "smaller." She pauses the feed. On screen, a flash of movement, orange fast, low to the ground. It darts through a loosened fence panel near the perimeter trail. Ben squints. "Is that a kitten?" Another click. The camera switches, angles, and their blood goes cold. The kitten doesn't stop at the trail. It squeezes through the damaged drainage channel and stumbles into Kumani's enclosure. Ben drops his clipboard. "Number, no. We have to get it out. Now." Kumani isn't just any gorilla. She's a 28-year-old silverback matriarch, massive and notoriously private. She's destroyed cameras, flipped stones like paper, and once shattered a viewing window with a single fist. And now, a kitten is inside her space. Ben grabs the radio. "We've got an active breach, live animal, Zone 2. But Dr. Reyes doesn't move. She's still watching the screen. The kitten, tiny, orange, barely bigger than a coconut, stumbles through wet grass and fallen branches. It sneezes, then sits. And from the shadowed corner of the enclosure, Kumani appears, 6 feet tall, shoulders like boulders, eyes dark and unreadable. She steps forward slowly, silent as a whisper. The kitten blinks up at her. Then something impossible happens. Kumani lowers herself. She folds her legs, places both fists in the grass, and sits. She doesn't grunt, doesn't strike. She just watches. Ben is frozen. Why isn't she attacking? "I don't think she wants to," Dr. Reyes murmurs. The kitten mews once, then pads forward. Kumani's nostrils flare. She leans down, slow, careful, and extends one massive finger. The kitten rubs its face against it. Ben sinks into a chair. She's letting it touch her. A hush falls over the room. The animal everyone feared would snap is cradling a creature the size of her hand. Outside, the clouds break. Sunlight spills through the trees, and inside her enclosure, Kumani curls her arms gently around the kitten and closes her eyes. By morning, word spreads across the sanctuary like wildfire. Kumani let the kitten live. Not only that, she held him, touched him, rocked him. Staff gather around the camera feed, whispering, watching in stunned silence. Ben hovers near the door, chewing on a pen cap. "I still don't believe it," he mutters. "She once bit a rubber tire in half. Now she's spooning a kitten?" Dr. Reyes doesn't respond. She's too busy watching Kumani move. The silverback sits beneath her favorite fig tree, massive arms folded around something small and orange. The kitten, Milo they're calling him now, rests on her forearm, tiny head tucked against the dark fur of her chest. He purrs, and Kumani hums. A low chest-deep sound, not aggressive, not distressed, gentle, rhythmic. Ben leans closer to the screen. "That's her comfort vocalization," he says, awestruck. "She used to do that when she held her baby." Dr. Reyes nods. "Kumani's baby died 6 years ago. Pneumonia. She carried the body for days, wouldn't eat, wouldn't let anyone near her. Since then she's been different, silent, withdrawn, unreachable, until now." Rena checks the logs. The kitten snuck in last night, but he didn't leave. Milo returns again the next morning on his own. Cameras catch him slipping under the fence again. He scampers up the hill, tail twitching. Kumani's already waiting. She rises when she hears him, stands at the same spot near the western rocks, fists resting at her sides, still as a statue. Milo trots over, bumps his head against her shin. She scoops him up like a toddler. Visitors begin arriving just to see it. No one dares shout or make sudden movements. They stand in quiet reverence at the viewing platform. Children gasp. Some parents cry. One little girl whispers to her mom, she thinks he's her baby. Inside the control room, Ben sets down his coffee and stares at the screen. This isn't instinct, he says. It's memory, Dr. Reyes replies. She's not protecting him. She's grieving through him. Kumani begins sharing her fruit, breaking bananas in half and placing pieces near Milo's paws. She uses her knuckles to nudge him gently when he falls asleep too close to the pond's edge. She even pulls large leaves into a pile and places Milo there like a crib. Every motion is slow, precise, tender. Milo climbs on her back. She lets him. He swats at a fly on her shoulder. She chuckles. A short, chuffing breath, never before recorded from her. The footage is sent to a research institute in the UK. Their reply, "This is an unprecedented display of cross-species maternal behavior. Document everything." But inside the sanctuary, it's not a study. It's a miracle. And every day that Milo returns, Kumani's world becomes a little brighter. The days begin to follow a rhythm. At sunrise, Kumani waits by the edge of the enclosure. She doesn't eat, doesn't move. She just sits, watching the trail where the kitten always appears. And like clockwork, Milo comes running, tail high, ears perked, mewing loudly as he scrambles over rocks and through damp underbrush. The moment he arrives, Kumani's face changes. Her shoulders relax. Her chest rises with a soft, almost inaudible sigh. She lifts him into her arms like he belongs there. Visitors line up along the sanctuary trail, silent and respectful. Children clutch stuffed animals. Adults stare through tears. No one dares break the spell. Ben films everything. "We need to preserve this," he says. "She's rewriting what we thought we knew." Kumani now prepares for Milo's arrival each day. She builds little nests from leaves and moss. She breaks fruit and leaves it in tiny pieces on a flat stone. She even picks burrs out of his fur with her enormous fingers. It's not instinct, it's care. At night, Milo stays longer and longer. Sometimes he curls up on Kumani's chest and falls asleep there, a ball of orange against black fur. Cameras record her humming quietly as she rocks beneath the stars. Ben pulls up older footage, 6 years ago when Kumani lost her baby. In it, she cradles a small wrapped bundle of straw, refusing to let it go for days. He turns to Dr. Reyes. "She's doing it again," he whispers, "but this time the baby's alive." Reyes nods slowly, and this time she's trying to keep it that way. The bond deepens. Milo mimics her movements, dragging leaves across the dirt when she nests. He starts pawing at fruit like he wants to share. He follows her across the enclosure like a cub trailing its mother. When a hawk circles low one afternoon, Kumani grabs Milo and shields him with her body until it passes. She's not just protective, she's present. Visitors leave letters at the sanctuary gates. Some say the story helped them grieve lost loved ones. One note reads, "If she can love like this, what excuse do we have not to?" Then one morning, Milo doesn't come. Kumani waits and waits. She builds the nest, places a banana peel in the middle. She hums quietly to herself. But the trail remains empty. Ben checks the outer fence line. No tracks, no fur, just damp grass and silence. Cameras search the service path. Nothing. By sundown, Kumani still hasn't moved from the gate. She stays there through the night, eyes open, still, listening. By dawn, something has changed. She doesn't greet the staff. She doesn't eat. She simply lays one massive hand over the empty nest of leaves and lowers her head. The sanctuary feels different, quieter, slower. Like even the trees are mourning. Kumani hasn't moved from her spot near the fence in over a day. She doesn't eat, doesn't groom. She barely blinks, just waits. But Milo never returns. Ben double-checks the service logs, then the side gate cameras. Finally, the delivery path. There, paused footage, a flash of orange fur, a small body darting across the trail into the wheels of a supply truck. Ben's breath leaves his body. Number no. He rushes to Dr. Reyes. She watches the clip in silence. When it ends, she removes her glasses and wipes her eyes. They don't tell Kumani. They don't have to. That morning, she begins searching. She paces the edge of the forest, sniffing at leaves, turning over stones. She stares through the trees as if willing Milo to appear. He doesn't. By afternoon, she sits in the middle of the enclosure, not under her fig tree, not on her platform. The exact spot where Milo used to fall asleep in her arms. She begins to hum, but it's different now, fractured. A soft, broken note that rises and falls like a lullaby forgotten halfway through. Visitors notice. A child asks, "Why does she look so sad?" Nobody answers. Kumani begins carrying leaves again, armfuls of them, moss, bark, even a torn strip of blanket from her old bedding. She builds a nest, but there's nothing inside it. That evening, she wraps her arms around the empty bundle and rocks. Ben records it, hands shaking. She's grieving, Dr. Reyes says softly. She's reliving it. The same ritual she performed years ago with her lost infant, now repeated for a creature no one expected her to love. Staff bring food. She doesn't touch it. She sits beside the nest for hours, motionless, except for the soft hum that never fully stops. On the third night, she vanishes from camera view. Staff find her the next morning, under the fig tree, the nest tucked gently against her chest, her eyes open, but distant. Dr. Reyes makes a decision. She walks the perimeter herself with something in her arms, a small orange plush kitten, software safe, something to hold. She places it near the log where Milo used to crawl out from, and waits. Kumani sees it, sniffs the air, then she rises. Step by step she approaches. She crouches beside the toy, lifts it with one hand, studies it, and presses it to her chest. She rocks. Ben captures the moment, not for data, not for research, but because he knows no one will believe it otherwise. Kumani, the solitary silverback who once rejected every enrichment item and caregiver gesture, is mourning a kitten. And the world will soon learn what it means when an animal doesn't just feel instinct, but sorrow. Rain falls gently over the sanctuary, not a storm, just a soft, steady drizzle. The kind that makes the trees shine, the kind that smells like memory. Under the fig tree, Kumani rocks slowly. In her arms is the orange plush kitten, worn now, fur damp at the edges. She doesn't play with it, doesn't chew or tear. She cradles it. Every morning she places it on a folded bed of leaves. Every evening she picks it up again. The ritual hasn't stopped, but the urgency has faded. What once was mourning is now something else. Remembrance. Visitors gather quietly at the viewing platform. No one shouts, no one laughs. They watch Kumani rock and hum, her massive frame curled protectively around something small. Children leave notes tied to the railing. "I'm sorry your kitten went away." "I hope you're okay, Miss Gorilla. You're a good mommy." Dr. Reyes stands nearby, arms crossed, mist on her glasses. Ben hands her a tablet. The screen shows a clip that's already been viewed 12 million times. Kumani lifting the plush kitten, holding it to her chest, rocking under the tree. Comment sections flood with stories. "I cried harder than I have in years." "My daughter just lost her cat. This helped her grieve." This is proof. We're not the only ones who feel. The sanctuary decides to act. They create a permanent memorial garden near Kumani's enclosure. A small bronze statue of an orange kitten, curled beside a gorilla's hand, rests on a stone bench. The plaque reads, "Love has no species." They call it the Milo Garden. Kumani visits it on her own. One morning, staff find her sitting beside the bench, gently laying her plush kitten beside the statue and placing a banana leaf over it like a blanket. She doesn't stay long, but that gesture is enough. The story spreads across the world. News anchors report it, schools teach it, animal behaviorists revisit everything they thought they understood about emotional capacity. But for Kumani, none of that matters. She's back under the fig tree, plush toy cradled gently. She hums, not in sadness now, but peace. Ben watches from the control room, eyes misty. "She lost him," he says quietly, "but she never let go of what he gave her." Dr. Reyes nods. No one should. In time, Kumani begins to eat normally again. She climbs, she plays. But every evening, before the sun sets, she returns to that tree, to that spot, to that memory. Not because she's broken, because she remembers. She didn't speak, she didn't cry, but she mourned. Kumani didn't see a kitten. She saw something fragile, something soft, something she once held and lost. And when it disappeared, she didn't just notice. She grieved. This wasn't instinct, it wasn't training. It was love, the kind we feel, the kind we remember, the kind that breaks your heart and puts it back together again. If this story moved you, share it with someone who still thinks animals are just instinct and reflex. Tell us in the comments, have you ever seen an animal mourn or love like we do? Like, subscribe and follow for more true stories that remind us feelings don't belong to humans alone.